So I found out how to win just about every game in Fortnite through landing at this one secret location, which I'll show you all today. Now this location is pretty overpowered because it has some fairly ridiculous loot, and literally nobody ever lands there. I promise you it's incredible. Last time that I played, I left there with like a golden pump, 2 slurpfish, silenced SMG, bolt action sniper rifle on top of full health, and flappers to spare. I wasn't even trying too hard to loot it. Anyway, we're in a game now, so I can show you exactly where this place is. Now if you are new here and want to learn how to win in Fortnite, get better at it quickly, and improve at all sorts of fun related things, be sure to subscribe and notifications so you don't miss anything. We're approaching 50,000 and the far majority of you aren't subscribed. If you all did subscribe, we could actually hit it right this very second. So, you know, please subscribe. It would actually mean a lot to me. Alright, so we're landing on this location right now, and as you can see, this place is so good. Look at how much loot there is. It is unbelievable. Right here we have a Grey Burst assault rifle. I know I can barely believe my eyes. It is simply ridiculous. Okay, now as you can probably tell, this place is pretty deserted. I mean, there is no loot here. Wait a second, there's actually one chest sitting right here just like that. There we go. We have a green pistol and a gray SMG. That's pretty nice. No, but on a serious note, it actually isn't this bad. Of course, as long as you know this one trick. Obviously, I didn't discover this location. Huge shout out to Spooderman. He came by my last live stream and showed it to me. To be honest, when he first showed this method to me, I was pretty confused, like, where's all the loot here? I mean, what the heck? It's a little bit embarrassing, but I quickly figured things out. Alright, so the real secret to why this location is really overpowered actually comes from right over here. These fishing rods, these fishing barrels, just like this. I now have a pro fishing rod. You may wonder exactly what is so great about these fishing rods. There's actually another barrel right over here you can grab if you don't get like a good fishing rod. You may want something better. But you are probably pretty curious exactly what's the big deal. So we have a fishing rod, that's great. What are we gonna do? We're gonna go fish at this area? Like, what the heck? That's nothing new. Well, believe it or not, this place actually has a ridiculous amount of fishing spots. There are probably 10, 15, 20 of them around the map. It is insanity. You can get so much XP and so much loot is ridiculous. But it's actually a little bit more complicated than that. Of course, fishing takes a very long time, and I'm sure you don't want to spend the whole start of your game fishing. There's actually a much better way to do things, which obviously I'll get into right now. Because while this island is phenomenal, if you do it wrong, well, then you're gonna just be wasting your time, let's be honest. Now, what exactly is this trick? Well, there's actually a lot of mats here. Now, why do you need mats? You actually need 100 of brick, wood, and metal. So as you can see, this one rock right here, we have 100 of brick. There's a bunch of rocks over here, a bunch of rocks over like past the island. There's also these trees right over here, which is great for making sure they're able to get a lot of wood. Now, why exactly is it so important to have all these mats? Well, we turn around right over here, you can see there's actually an upgrade bench. Now, I just realized I forgot to show you where on the map this island is. If we hit the map, it's located on the far north side of the island, right over here. Now, in specific, on this shack right over here, this shack over here too has lots of bricks. It's very nice. But specifically, this shack right over here, if we look right under, there is an upgrade bench. Now, why is this overpowered? If we actually go to a fishing rod right over here, as you can see, for 100 wood, 100 brick, and 100 metal, we can upgrade to a pro fishing rod. Now, thankfully, we were lucky enough to have this fishing rod over here, but if you're not, which let's face it, you probably won't get a pro fishing rod. These things are pretty rare to find in these fishing barrels. You're going to have to go off and get some metal of your own, which sadly is hard to find on this island. Because if we build up over here, I know it is a little bit hard to see in all the fog. There isn't much metal. I mean, you get probably 3 or 4 metal from this telescope right over here. Then we can get a little bit more metal from these, like, whatever these things are called. I don't know what to call them, but it's simply not enough metal. Though more importantly, you could actually go to this area right over here with all these trucks, all these cars and stuff like that. There's also an XP coin here, which is actually pretty nice. Get an extra 10 to 15,000 XP if you're new to this place. Come on, let's try to get all of them here. Alright, there we go. We got all of them. Anyway, as you can see, there are a lot of like broken cars down over here. You can harvest at these and get a fair amount of metal, probably 1 or 200, so you can even get multiple fishing rods if that floats your boat. But I mean, it's definitely a pretty nice location. Now, in terms of where it actually is in reference to the island, hopefully the storm doesn't get in the way. But as you can see, just a quick walk over here. I know that's a little ways away, so what I recommend you do is instead of landing directly at the island, maybe just go over here, steal a truck, and then take like 10, 20, 30 seconds to drive your way in. It might take a little while at least get to the water, and then maybe like drive on water like a boat the rest of the way. Alright, there we go. It took a minute, but now we actually have the new fishing rod. Now, yes, I know we actually are in a different game. Now, the storm is coming. I know it may be like a minute or two for you guys, but it actually takes me like 10, 15 minutes to record all this. I'm going to and from all these different locations, so this is actually the 3rd game that we're now just trying to explain all this to you. Alright, so now in the fishing part. And of course, remember, after this, I'll show you exactly where to go after you leave the island, because landing is only half it. Once you have the loot, you actually need to know, how to use that loot, and how to do well at the end so you don't immediately die to secure that win. And in terms of fishing holes, there's a lot of them. Obviously, I'm not going to just sit here and, fish out of all these holes, so my loot won't reflect that, but do keep in mind, in terms of fishing all these holes, you'll probably get yourself at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 legendary items, along with a couple of terminal fish. I know they're pretty common, even though they may say they're legendary, but let's face it, they're more of a common item. Either way, just to give you an idea, there's a fishing hole here, a fishing hole right over here, fishing hole right over there, a fishing hole right over here. If you turn around, it's just general corner of the island, fishing hole there, fishing hole over there, right over there, another one right over here, one right over here, one right over there, one here, one there, another one right over here, and let's face it guys, probably another like 5 or 10 more, 20 more, just because of how messy this fog is. Like more than just like 5 meters off in the water, you can't even see the fishing holes, so I'm pretty sure I missed a few. And honestly, this is the low end. As I said before, you can expect for there to be at least probably 15 or 20 fishing holes times 2 to 3 fish a hole. Definitely quite a lot of fish. Of course, I should establish, you do know there's all the fog here. This is the Fortnite Mirrors event. I am Jack Gordon. I mean, let's be honest, this is Fortnite Mirrors. Also, pump shotgun. You're probably gonna get this every time. Every time I've landed here, I've gotten a golden pump shotgun, so you're probably gonna get one of these. But keep in mind, this method will apply outside of Fortnite Mirrors and even in future seasons, really as long as this island is in the game. So to those who comment, does this still work? Yes, it does still work, except for, you know, when Epic Games decides to remove this island from the game, but you'll probably know it considering it be more than just this island on the north side of the map. But let's be real, that's probably not going to be for a fairly long time. Also, I should mention, obviously the title does say how to win every game in Fortnite, and I know what you're all probably thinking, oh, he lied, you cannot win every game in Fortnite. And while that's partially true, theoretically winning every game in Fortnite is possible. Surely no one has ever done that, but if you played maybe 1, 2, 3 games on your brand new account, and then every game you played you landed here, got in the final few people and won, technically you've won in every game in Fortnite. I obviously play Fortnite, you know, 2-3 hours a day. You can't win every game you play, but theoretically speaking, it is in fact possible. And if you told me you have to win this game, you're gonna get $1 million, I would totally land here and feel pretty confident that I'll win. And if you still don't believe me, I landed at this location earlier today with my friend. It was actually my first casual game, not streaming, not recording or anything like that, in the last several months. And, yeah, we won. Surely Perez goes, but I mean, like, shut up. We also got cleaned off by Ghost late into the round, so if Ghost weren't in the game, we definitely still would have won the game. So I mean, yeah, I think it counts. Alright, so I think that's just about all the fishing holes around the map. As you can see, there are a lot of fish over here. You can feel free to grab as many of them as you want. Probably end up with like 3 or 4 floppers and all types of fish. You could end up with really as much of any type of fish as you want. Alright guys, now don't leave yet, because I know what you're thinking. Oh great, this is an amazing route. Okay, thank you so much for helping us out. I'm gonna go into a game right now and do this. No, don't do that, because if you do that, you will not win a game. You must know the entire route or else you're probably gonna fail. Oh yeah, by the way, there's a chest over here, a chest over here, and a chest right over here that will spawn. This one's out in the open, along with a lot of brick right under here, so you want to make sure you grab all of this. There's also an XP coin back there if you want to get an extra couple thousand XP. Also, by the way, be sure to grab mats, or lots of mats. You can easily get 200 to 300 of wood and brick. Grab these wooden pallets right under here to make sure when you do run into players, they aren't gonna like immediately kill you, and you can build to defend yourself. Now, I'm going to be real with you guys. I got incredibly unlucky this round, and my loot is not as great as I expected, but don't worry, it's still fairly decent. From all of my experience and everyone I've talked to, you can at least expect to get a couple of golden items and some fairly decent loot overall from all these fishing holes. And worst case scenario, you'll still get a crazy amount of XP. I've leveled up an incredible amount for the short time that I've spent fishing on this island. Oh yeah, one other thing, there's a bunker under here. You can't open it, but it's a bit of a secret, so people told me about that on stream. Just thought you guys might be curious about that. Alright, so now into exactly where to go after we get this entire island. Now, if you want to go the fishing route, you want to still get some fairly decent loot. I completely get that. That is amazing. You can go in this direction right over here. We actually hit the map, you can see. This goes on for a fair amount longer. It actually went on longer before Stark Industries, but now that Stark Industries is in the game, it's not as long. You can grab a couple more fish in these fishing holes that should spawn around this general area. So personally, what I recommend doing is if the storm hasn't closed in on you, by the way, if the storm doesn't close in on you, you're going to have more floppers than you can ever imagine. So obviously, be sure to use the floppers that you find, you know, laying around on the island, so you don't like immediately die to the storm once it comes closing on you. You can leave with full health, with as much loot as you want, if you aren't as lucky as me in terms of the rotations you got for the circle. Either way, you'll probably be a little bit faster than me because you won't be explaining this to several thousand people. So assuming that you are faster, you can always hit this Quinjet up that spawns right over here. Has some nice loot, has some Stark Henchmen too if you want to hack them. I highly recommend it. You can also hit up a Quinjet that'll spawn sometimes right over here, but it didn't spawn one this round, which is also pretty good in case the other Quinjet's looted or they're just players there. Now everyone, be sure to pay extra close attention here because this is by far the most important part of the video, because I'm going to show you exactly what you must do in the endgame to secure that win. You gotta be really careful here because even the smallest mistake can lead to you failing, so be sure to watch until the very last second of this video so you don't miss out on anything crucial to winning. And now, right taking any craggy cliffs, you actually want to grab a car here so you don't like die to the storm right now. I might need to use a couple of my floppers or flirt fishes so I don't like die. Either way, right up here there is a rift that'll spawn. Might not spawn for you, but it might spawn around. This is just completely random. I just found the rift, kind of improv here, but either way you can just rotate out, same as always, you know, Fortnite logic through rifts and stuff like that. Alright, now heading into the end game, there should be less than 20 people left, probably less than 10 or 15 if you want to stay at the island for as long as possible. So right here, all you have to do is use your overpowered loot that you should have with you to, take off the last couple of people. Maybe try and avoid some people like this guy in his sports car trying to flex on us, because they're probably going to try and kill us, and so it might be a little bit safer just to avoid them and play a little bit more safe. Oh yeah, and if you want to make sure you actually win every single game you play, I highly recommend playing in squads, because there is no skill-based matchmaking in squads, infinite amount of times against the same difficulty of players. On top of that, when you have 4 strong players all on the same team, a lot of teams are disorganized and aren't strong, because even the best players at times will even die, but if one player dies, you still have 3 others there to have their back. So what I recommend doing is finding a strong squad, landing a place like that, getting plenty of loot. There should be a lot of loot for everybody. You could always divide and conquer, people go to the Quinjets and stuff like that. Maybe go to Craggy Cliffs if you're pretty confident in your skill levels. Either way, if you want to win every game, go into squads, but if you aren't solos, keep in mind there's always human error. You can always make a mistake and die, and when you make a mistake and die, well, that's just about it, and you're not going to be able to respawn or anything like that for reboot card. Of course, when you need people to play with, feel free to make friends down in the comments below, and like I always do, I'll be hearing all the comments that I see of those looking for friends to play with to help your comments be seen by others. Alright, now exactly where do you go after you rotate it out, after the Quinjets out of the storm, after, our island, all that fancy stuff? Well, that is a very good question. Now, sadly enough, all the name locations like Doomsday Bank, Craggy Cliffs, Stark Industries, they're all going to be looted. Maybe Risky Reels, but that's probably going to be looted too. In fact, looking at the map, most of this place is looted. I probably don't want to get sniped. Should be a little bit more careful. So sadly enough, you can go for a supply drop if you want, but players are going to be there. You see that supply drop just got stolen. So the next best scenario is just play it safe. So what you should probably do is find somewhere corner, like maybe Stark Industries is not the safest area because there's a guy here, and just play it safe. Most likely you found a sniper rifle when fishing, so you can always use that, like down here. Just type people from a range so you can try and get a couple of extra kills. Either way, getting in the end, avoiding players is becoming harder and harder to do, and so you probably don't want to fight them. Obviously you want to use rotations to avoid players, so you don't obviously die like what I'm doing right now. But then obviously build up a 1x1 in Storm and make players push you, and then pick them off while you have the high ground. The final player will obviously be tricky to take care of. And just like that, you'll win. There is a ghost left, of course, that I'm going to have to take care of, but that shouldn't be too hard. Boom, just like that, easy win. You can do it too if you land in this overpowered location. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn how to win in Fortnite, get better at it quickly, and improve at all sorts of Fortnite things, be sure to subscribe to notifications, almost at 2,000, because most of you aren't subscribed, and then click here to learn how to level up incredibly fast in Fortnite. But that is all I have for now, and I'll see you all later.